Woe to go. How do you feel at this moment?
I'm on cloud nine right now. It's been just a phenomenal week. It's felt like a short week because I got here on Wednesday morning where I normally get to tournaments on Mondays. But it was been absolutely phenomenal. My first time in Australia. Everybody told me how great it was, and I'm truly feel like I love this country already. And it's only been 4 days that I've been here, or 5 days, but everybody has been tremendously supportive, really nice to me this week, and I felt right at home.
I saw when you held the cup, you sort of stroked it and started looking at the names on it. Did you, before you came here, did you realise the history of the cup and the winners?
Yeah, obviously I did a little bit of research, and the names on this cup are absolutely incredible. Jack Nicklaus, obviously recently Spieth, McIlroy, Batley, a lot of names that are extremely obviously recognized in the world of golf, and I'm really happy that my name is going to be there now.
And for a couple of these recent players, this tournament seemed to launch the following year for them. They had, McIlroy and Spieth had wonderful years after they won this.
I love it. Hopefully, that's, my game feels really solid right now. Obviously, after this win, gives me a lot of confidence, and if that been the case, hopefully it'll be the case with me as well.
Questions from the floor, please. Martin.
Two. How did you approach today, given that you're 5 in front and even 7 in front at one stage? And the second one was a couple of shots. One was the chip in on the 4th and going over the water at 14. Could you talk about those 2 shots?
Yeah, well, my approach was the same. I felt really comfortable the way I played every single hole throughout the week, so I didn't change anything off the tee. I did everything the same, really, even though the wind was a little bit different today. And the chip-in was just a lot of fun. I spent a lot of time on the chipping green. I just absolutely love short game and just crazy little shots like that. And I knew if I hit that bank exactly where I was looking, it couldn't really end up in a bad spot. And it's always a bonus to see it going in. It worked out perfectly. And on 14, I had a perfect club for the pin. I was obviously going right of the pin and then to putt across. And it had a little bit of mud. Again, and it happened to me, the second day, when he had a little bit of mud. He had a little more mud the first time, and he ended up diving and went in the water. And we talked about it, and we were like, I don't think it's going to affect it that much. And when the strike was really good, and we just see it diving, and I was like, oh, my God. Not again, and he cleared by, I don't know, a couple yards and stayed there, which obviously really important moment in the round, and to keep it going and keep myself in front of everybody.
Abraham, looked like on the 4th after you did that chip in, you were watching the scoreboards. Is that something you were doing to see how you were going throughout the round? And
I try not to. I know my caddy was, and so I like to know, but only if I ask him. I tend to not look around too much and just kind of stick to my plan.
So on the 12th, I think that was your first bogey of the round, and we hit it over the back, and then 13 was only a par as well on that short hole. But I think the lead got back to about 4. Were you aware of that then? Was that a critical time in the round for you? Yeah, that's when I asked my caddy for the first time where I stood, and he told me you're 4 ahead. Let's get a couple coming in, and we'll be just fine. And got one. I had some nice looks on 16 and 17 that I hit good putts, and they just didn't go in, but I hit some good shots coming in.
Abraham, this win I think will take you to about 62 or 63 in the world based on the projected rankings. Do you have anything left remaining between now and the end of the year that you could maybe improve in that ranking at all, anything? Or is this your last event?
I'm playing next week in the World Cup, but I don't think they have any world ranking points, so no.
Okay.
Kathy sort of asked you, and it was mentioned out on the green, about projecting McIlroy and Spieth forward. Do you think this could open the floodgates for you?
I feel like it'll give me some confidence for sure. I feel like I've been playing some good solid golf for the last 7 months, some really good golf, and just haven't really been able to win a tournament. But I feel like the game is there. Obviously, it will give me confidence, and hopefully it will propel my career like it did for Spieth and McIlroy when they came through this event.
So what would an awesome 2019 look like for you?
Well, I definitely want to make it to the Tour Championship, make it all the FedEx Cup events, and win a tournament also in the PGA Tour. And obviously play in the President's Cup. That's definitely in the back of my mind. And I know that obviously points in the world ranking and playing like this helps, but it's definitely a goal of mine for the end of the year.
Next.
Abraham, congratulations first off. Matt Kuchar, when he finished his round, he spoke about the wind here and how we really struggled to pick it. It was something that you obviously conquered pretty well. Did you have any problems with the wind today, or mainly this weekend? And if so, how did you get on top of it?
Yeah, I think we all had. This golf course is really tricky, especially because the greens are very tough. You got to be in the right spots. So you got to be really precise with your shots into the green. But I think we all struggled. It was really, really tough out there, especially yesterday and the first day were really, really tough. I grew up in the wind, where I went to college was really windy as well. So I'm not scared of the wind. I feel like it's an advantage if it's windy for me. And I just embrace it. I know it's going to be tough, and just try to hit some shots and make it work.
Adam.
Abraham, you spoke earlier in the week about your upbringing, obviously born on in the US, raised in a border town, sort of stuff like that, and going back to the US to further your golf. What does it sort of mean? I know you've probably been asked this question in the past. What does it mean to represent Mexico every single week? And are you sort of aware of what you can do for the game in Mexico by your career as it goes on?
Yeah, I mean, representing Mexico, I feel it's awesome. It's being from a border town. A lot of people ask me, do you really feel Mexican? And I'm like, everybody that knows me know how Mexican I am. And that's where I grew up playing the game. And I feel like the Mexican golf is growing quite a bit lately in tournaments like Mayakoba that I played last week, and the WGC at Mexico City are doing huge things for Mexican golf. Hopefully, me playing well and winning this event will touch more kids in Mexico, and they start playing the game. But I think slowly but surely, Mexican golf and also Latin American golf is growing.
Abraham, would you consider playing the Australian PGA Championship in 2 weeks' time, given the top 50 in the world on the 31st, eligible for the Masters next year?
I really didn't think about that. I thought about it, maybe not playing this and playing the World Cup and then playing, but it's because it's going to be a lot of golf in a good stretch. That will make it like 6 tournaments in a row and going across the world. But I'll have to talk about it and think about it now, but probably not.
Mark.
Abraham, aside from Lorena, who is the best Mexican golfer?
Gaby Lopez. She just won in China, I think, a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
You haven't got her under control? You're not the man? You're not the next best golfer after Lorena?
I don't mind sharing. The one thing that really gets me going is seeing how Mexican golf is growing. And we're 4 PGA Tour members this year that are Mexican, and hopefully next year will be 6 or 7. That's really our main goal.
Do you like being a trailblazer?
What, I'm sorry?
Do you like setting the path for the future?
I mean, I feel like I can take that role if it helps. I don't mind it. I enjoy. I'm not really the spotlight, but just I like playing big events and playing good golf. I think I just like the challenge.
Bruce.
Were you aware that there was an Open Championship startup for grabs prior to today? If so, either way, will it be your first major? And give us some thoughts about playing the Open Championship.
Yeah, I knew there were some spots. That was also one of the reasons why I feel like I came here. I wanted to get to know Australia a little bit better, not just Melbourne next week. So that's one of the reasons why I came. I wanted to be a part of this tournament. Also, having a spot for the Open or a couple spots for the Open made it obviously a lot more appealing as well. And last year I played the Open at Carnoustie. It was my first major. It was an incredible experience, and that's why I really wanted to play the Open again, and I'm really thankful that I am.
Just one more for me. Will you change your pre-tournament routine now? Arrive Wednesdays from now on?
You know what? We're always learning. Golfers, we tend to think we know it all, but we're always learning. And hey, I might change how I do all the things. Yeah.
Next.
Abraham, this is a bit more of an extension on the thing about Mexico and the golfers, but Lorena was obviously such a dominant force. I did a whole 2 minutes of research on the net there. I'm not sure if this is going to be correct, but you may be the first Mexican male professional to win outside of the Americas. How would that make you feel if that was the case?
That's awesome. There's a lot of things that really I don't know. Growing up, I'm always in the golf course, and I didn't really watch much golf or know really the history because I was always out there just playing. But yeah, I was actually with Lorena last week. She went to the PGA Tour event for a couple of media stuff, and that was actually the first time that I spent some time and talked to her. And yeah, it's really inspiring what she did. She dominated women's golf for a while, and it just really inspired us. Like we were all with the four Mexican players were with her, and we were just asking her questions, trying to learn from her experience and how she did it. But yeah, I mean, going back to your question, I don't even know what you said really, but I'm just kidding.
Should we?
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Too many questions. Should we say that?
Sorry.
Leave it on that note. Thank you so much for the wonderful week. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.